Hello, everyone. How are you all doing? Come on in, sit on down. It's Wednesday. It's time for another live Q&A. Let me just switch the camera up here. Here I am, everyone. I'm here. Yes, it's going to be a good one today. I've done a little bit of pre-planning for this one, which is rare for me. I don't normally bother to do such a thing. I'm more of a let's just go live and wing it type of guy. And in a way, don't get me wrong, there's still some element to that happening right now. There's a lot of ad-libbing that comes with this with this game, but I was sent a few things on Telegram, which led me down a couple of my own rabbit holes, and some things that got memory hold came back, and I thought, you know, maybe I should just bring this up, because there's something there's like an overarching idea here that I kind of want to talk about when it comes to conspiracy and being a conspiracy theorist. And people ask us, like, for like a heavy amount of like high standards worth of evidence to back up our claims. It's kind of like what they require from us is far higher than what they ask basic mainstream sources to prove stuff to them. There's kind of this burden of proof on us, which is just ridiculous. And it doesn't matter how much we tell them, or what we show them, what patents we show them, for example, or what books we show them where the conspirators themselves told us in black and white ink what they were conspiring to do. It's not enough. It's like, nah, that's ridiculous. How would they get away with it? You know, and people would know that kind of stuff. We always get those kind of rebuttals towards us. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, what is our biggest piece of evidence that there is a overarching control system run by malevolent people who quite literally worship Lucifer, who do the most heinous things behind the scenes and operate occult magic on the masses, and also forward their own agenda towards a new world order in which they have complete dictatorial control over us with Lucifer at the helm? And it's kind of, what evidence do we have, really, that best proves this? More, other than the thousands of like little pieces of evidence of the results of what they've kind of done upon us. And I was thinking to myself, and I was like, just look at the people. Look at the people who are under their spell or under their regime, or just look how far people have changed in just the past maybe 30 years, never mind the past 100 years, and that we can vaguely kind of document and remember a time before, you know. And it's kind of just look at the progression of people and the mentality of people today and the ideas people have today and the way people behave today, and you can't help but think or believe something's happened to us, or perhaps something has been done to us. And I think that's a very compelling argument, a compelling case we have to kind of make people wake up, basically, and realize, oh yeah, something is wrong. And today I'm going to showcase some examples of the thing that is wrong with people, what behavior from people which is terrible, and a sign that something is very, very, very rotten within the very core of the majority of people. And it's not necessarily their fault. They're a product of bad ideologies, agendas, and brainwashing and propaganda. And they obviously need saving, just like the rest of us, and they need to be woken up and forced to wear the they live glasses, just like many of us were before we started to think about these broader concepts outside of our immediate sense reality and our kind of basic urges, which is kind of what most people are running off. They're running off the base programming, and they haven't really realized there's actually anything outside of their own bubble. And what we did as conspiracy theorists is we popped the bubble and suddenly realized what was around us, and we're like, "Oh God, what is happening?" They I don't think they want that Neo Matrix moment where his pod gets burst wide open and he like gasps for air out of the goo. I don't think they're quite ready for that, but they will have to get there eventually. If we want any hope of people kind of getting to the ultimate truth, which I would say is realizing that God is real and that his enemies have been at work against his creation for a long time. And I'll get to my conclusions later, and we'll do the showcase, and I'll come back full circle to this kind of opening diatribe, shall we say, and I'll get back to my conclusions about how I think realistically the main issue that has caused this bad behavior. But for now, let's get back to the chat. Let's just see what's going on. Then I'm going to do a few announcements, and then we'll get into the presentation as well. So let's see what's going on here. We've got Stephen in the house. Great to see you. We've got Mad Pax. Always great to see you. Thanks for the membership there. Still here. I'm glad you're still here, Mad Pax. I really am. David's in the house as well. He thinks, in his opinion, we are all recipients of trauma-based mind control. Yes, that is a huge part of all this. Absolutely. MK Ryan's here is like, this is our moderator for the evening. I think Wendy's had to step out because she's driving. I don't know where he's Wendy. Thanks anyways. It's about time Ryan pulled his way around here. So, but he's probably already gone. I'm probably talking to the what's the show? 8 minutes in, he's done the obligatory just turn up and say hi, and then he's probably clocked out early already. Classic MK Ryan. Pepe Sylvia's in the house. He says, no conspiracy to understand here. Go back to sleep. We are resetting the simulation back to 2001. Enjoy your pogs. Pogs. Oh, nostalgia. Our worst enemy. We think it was a great time to live, but the truth is, it was probably just absolutely terrible. But Pogs, they have a special place in my heart. I had my own Pog making machine when I was a kid. I remember that. I do remember that. And I know maybe this is a British thing, but did you guys have Crazy Bones over there in America as well? They were also a rose-tinted time of my youth. I'm not gonna lie. Thanks for the nostalgia trip. What else have we got? We've got Sebastian here as well. We've got Jesse Stronghold. We've got Amelia. We've got all the familiar faces. Great to see you guys. Thanks for being here. We've got Curtis Good as well. He says, howdy, Paul, from the Woodlands, Texas. Well, howdy back to you as well. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I feel like my lights have just started flickering at me at extremely high rates. I don't know if that's affecting how you guys see me in any way, but let me know if you notice that, or if it's just me tripping out a little bit. I don't know. It is hot. It's still hot in England, and I don't do well in the heat, so I'm trying my best to keep it together. I got a fan blaring at me here right now, which you guys can't see. Hopefully the noise cancellation is getting rid of that, but yeah, I'm trying to keep it together here. We got Junie Alexander. Who else we got? We got Bruce Jesse. We got Winston Smith. Hello from Hoosierland. We got someone from Canada over here. Yeah, from all over the world. Sorry, Awakened Light. What are Pogs? They're basically just little discs. That's it. There's little cardboard discs with pictures on them. Nothing else to it, really. And as when we were young, even in Britain, I don't know if it was in America, we used to collect them. And you can make them, and you can play this game with them, and it's very simple, childish fad. It was a fad, like, and that's the word, isn't it? When you were a kid, everything was the latest fad, and everyone just did it for like a month and then moved on. But like Pokemon cards were a huge fad at one point, and then suddenly every primary school in Britain banned them. So kids can't have Pokemon cards in school anymore because fights were breaking out and kids were crying because they were getting damaged, and it was just a first world problem nightmare, shall we say, for Britain. I love you. You know I love it. Yeah, says Mad Pax. Thanks for the super chat. I appreciate that. That's really really generous. Not seeing any light variations. Sound is clear. No noise, says David. Well, thanks, David, for the report. The sound check. That's brilliant. So some very quick announcements. First of all, I want to ask you guys, while I've got you here at the start of the show, and you probably haven't clicked off yet because it's just the first 10 minutes. My average watch time is about 11 to 12 minutes. So while I've still got you here, I'm considering revamping my merch situation. For those who don't know, I have a Teespring. I've had it for like years, and it's just got my logo on stuff. Whatever it is, someone bought a mug. I think they do mouse mats. I've got one here. I don't think they do anything special. I know they have extremely overpriced T-shirts and hoodies on there and stuff. And I get like $2 for every hoodie that's sold, and they get like 30 or something. It's ridiculous. I'm thinking of changing providers, finding a better ratio deal, and making some merch themed around the Nephilim clown stuff. But I don't want to put clowns on T-shirts and have people walking around with demons on them. I don't want that. But I'm thinking maybe some clever phrases relating to the clown Nephilim connection might be a good idea. And maybe I can create some stylized merch in the style of the book cover or something based on that. I don't know. Just an idea. But what kind of ideas of like quotes do you guys have? What would you like to see on a T-shirt from an Understanding Conspiracy channel? I'm thinking like a phrase like "What in the Nephilim clown is this?" or something like that. What? Because I've had those moments where I'm walking around, I'm like, "What in the Nephilim clown is this shit?" Like, it's just part of my French. Because I see some stuff every now and then, and maybe that'd be a good one. I don't know. Just putting it out there, guys. Leave a comment if you haven't already in the chat or just in down below, and let me know any ideas you guys have for possible quotes on merch or something like this. I don't know. I'm not that creative. I might be creative, but I'm not creative when it comes to this type of stuff. I feel like maybe a keen what would you call somebody who comes up with a copywriter? A copywriter comes up with like words. I wrote a book and I'm struggling to come up with words, but let me know if anyone's thinking of anything. Paul asked Brian for help. Yeah, I understand Brian's just released his own merch line on his website or something. I heard today on his, I think it was on JT's mixtape, he was saying he's got "It's Demons Bro" t-shirt or something, which is perfect. That's his catchphrase, isn't it? I don't think, do I have a catchphrase? Just, I want you to get together. Shall I get that on something? Oh, I don't know. I never say I want you to get together, but what else? Do I have a Let me know what the catchphrase is. I bet it's because I say a lot during these shows. What the Sigma? I don't know what that means, Sebastian. The wife, that was mine. What in the Nephilim clown is this? Yeah, well, yeah. Credit to wife. She did say that to me the other day. We actually saw something. We were out and about. There was some dance show going on. And it was like a interpretive dance type of situation with some really deep, weird, tribal, bassy, synthy music going on, which was really eerie. And when we went past the performance, there was this giant model of like a clown-looking fish monster, like being controlled by sticks from like 5 different people, its legs and its arms being controlled from below, and it was like stomping around this woman who was like terrified of it and doing some weird dance. And Akili literally said like, "What in the Nephilim clown is this?" It's spreading. It works. And so maybe I will have to get that one. Come on in, sit on down. Yeah, could get that on the merch, on a t-shirt. That could be a good one. Maybe with the Truth or Therapy session on there. Shall I do that? Shall I like a black hoodie with the white writing, Truth or Therapy sessions, and the red dots, and on the back it says, "Come on in, sit on down." Would that be good? Would that be fun? I have no idea. So what about Grok, says Alexander. Hey, we'll get there. You can't rush these things, Alexander. It's time to get an attention span back. Okay, we got to take our time here at the live Q&A and just let things progress and flow naturally as they are. You can't force the truth, all right? So we'll get there. It's coming up. We'll talk about Grok in a minute, okay? Just give me some time to just catch up with everybody. Just see how everyone's doing. Quick clowning around. That's true. That's a good one. Anyone remember the tennis ball game called Red Ass? I do not, Jeff Nugent. That's just you. You just made that up. That never existed. Then again, I'd wear any controversial t-shirt, though. Okay. What in the Nephilim? What in the Nephilim clowns? Quick clowning around with a giant red circle with X out of the clown. But that would still put a clown on the t-shirt. Yeah, I don't want the clown on the shirt. I don't want to be ever accused of promoting demon symbology on people and getting them to wear that kind of stuff. What you wear matters, you know, I believe that, so I wouldn't like that. Sounds like Squidward's interpretive dance. It kind of was like that, yeah. Remind me of the dragon dance. Not down with the clown. Yeah, rip into the, what are they called? I'm blanking now, the Juggalo scene, yeah. Balls gathered dust, says Edmund Wally. That's a good one too, yeah. Number 1, Christian. Number 2, conspiracy theorist. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's true. Quick clowning around. My wife got some more. It disappoints me when I have to admit the theory is right. Is that what my wife is saying? Yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? Once you see it, you just can't unsee it. That which has been seen cannot be unseen. Maybe that's a good one. Maybe I should just put that in a classic rule of the internet. Based off the resurrection of the saints being described. Okay, we're going there, are we? So what happened after the resurrection of Lazarus? Yeah, okay, with the chase, we're not talking about that right now. We're not in that. We're not doing that. We're doing the Nephilim clown merch. I still need some ideas. Clowns, know your Nephilim. That's a good one. That's a good one. It must be an Ontario, Canada thing, Jeff. Yeah, red ass sounds like something you Canadians will get up to. That's true. Okay. A Truth or Therapy t-shirt should be an option. Could wear it and maybe someone would look up your channel. Let's say, yeah, maybe. Move away from the white aesthetic back into something darker. I think that might be quite good. Not a licensed therapist, I thought was quite funny. So maybe I'll get that on there as well. Just have the nose or something. Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure I want that. I think just the phrase, the Nephilim look like clowns, is enough to get people's attention and start a conversation, I would say. Don't be a red noser. What's Miles saying? I can't see. Is Miles in the chat? I don't know. I can't see him. Never mind. Yeah, don't be a red noser. What's the problem? That's the problem, actually. It's that I can't unsee it. That's... Not that it's right. Yeah, my wife has had to see too much about it in her life. I've tried to keep it boxed into just this office so we can keep it separated from like the world outside of this. But I'm the guy who writes the book about clowns these days. If putting loving words on water can structure it, then I'm sure what we wear affects our body's water. I don't know. That's true. That's true. I think so too. Yes. Is it Dr. Emoto's work on that? I think he's done some work on that one, hasn't he? On the power of influence and words and vibrations on water and ice. Beanie Babies. Wow. We're going back in time there, aren't we? What else have we got? We've got Chiro Sounds in the house. Good to see you. And Eunice Tucker's here as well. Right, guys, that's enough of me rambling away about that. Another random announcement is I finished the audiobook advert. That's a good way to describe it. And a trailer. Is it a trailer? I think it's more like it's like a movie trailer. That's the theme I've gone for. And I released that yesterday. Was it yesterday? I think so, yeah, on Patreon and for my members only on YouTube. And I want to share it with you guys now, but I want you to, if I did, you'd have to understand the audiobook is not available yet. So I want to release it publicly as like a standalone video with an announcement that it's now available, you know. So if I played it now, it's just for you, whoever watches this, the 141 people watching it right now, you know, so it's not really a massive audience, I suppose. And maybe these videos usually end up maybe about 2,000 to 4,000 views after a week or two. So I guess they would know about it. But do I save the actual announcement and just save it and release it to the public when the audiobook is actually available? Because I'm waiting on Amazon. Like it's not, it's ACX, an Amazon affiliate company, does audiobooks. And ACX have to do a quality check. And apparently it's actually a guy who literally sits down and listens to the whole book to do the quality check. And my book is like 13 hours long or something like that. So I feel sorry, but some guy's going to have to quality check the entire book for 13 hours straight, you know. That's so I've been told. I'm sure maybe they've outsourced it to AI algorithms now, or some kind of program now, or something. I don't actually know if that's true, but if that's the case, it could take a long time to be approved. They say it should take about 10 days. That's what I'm told. So 10 working days means it might be next Tuesday, technically speaking. Though it could happen at any time now. But so that's when it will definitely be released to the public anyway. Fingers crossed it passes the quality check. It should do. I think it's okay. If not, then I've got some work to do. I've got to start the process again, and maybe it's going to take another month for the whole thing to actually be available. But I am hoping it should be out next Tuesday. Fingers crossed. Play a little for it now, please. We're special, says Curtis. Well, yeah, I could do. I could still play it for you guys if you want to. It's not a big deal. So I'll play. Yeah, I'll do it now. Whatever. It doesn't matter. You guys all know you've had the caveats. You've been told you can't go to Audible and get the book yet. But here's the advert I've made for it. It's available to members only already, and if you're on Patreon, but here it is just for the live show viewers right now. And yeah, it's a bit of fun. Don't take it too seriously. I certainly didn't. Don't get offended. Okay, so I'm pretty much lambasting about 90% of my audience here. I hope my American audiences can take a joke. I love you all. Please don't be offended. But here it is. I'll play it for you now, guys.
In a world where 54% of Americans read below a 6th grade level,
Could you read this?
It's impossible. I just see his words everywhere.
one man wrote a book about the hidden truth behind clowns.
I finally finished it. Everything's going to be okay now. Links down below to the Amazon.
But he was about to find out
Your primary market is the USA, and it ranks 36th in global literacy rates, with over 43 million adults unable to read or write.
getting the truth to people is no day at the circus.
You know, sometimes I wonder if I'm the real clown.
Nobody reads anymore.
Have you considered recording an audiobook?
You're going to get a sore throat.
You're serious about this, aren't you?
You don't understand. I have to do this. The people have to know.
That book will ruin everything.
I will not use AI to record this.
We can't let him reach them.
This is just something I need to do. I don't even like clowns. The end.
Now they can hide that they're completely illiterate. This is amazing.
This season, playing on rectangular devices with black screens near you. The Nephilim looked like clowns. The audiobook.
There we go. What did you think of that? Let me know if that was good, guys. If you actually enjoyed that at all, or if you just hate me now because I've just basically called you all my American audiences completely illiterate. I don't know. I thought that was fun. It took me a few days to slap together. The wife got the magical upshot there of me just staring up into the sky, exasperated with what my life has become. So I think that was fun. I thought that was fun to make. I had a lot of fun making that one, and that's going to be the regular advert you'll see from now on when the audiobook's released. Probably at the start, there's trailers before the film, premieres and things like this. I'll be playing that one. So that's what's coming. That's what's coming. I've been reading the comments there, and I've noticed MK Ryan said, "It's strawberry blonde is definitely my catchphrase." And yes, it is. It's not even strawberry blonde. It's just blonde. If I got rid of the beard, you can see I have like golden-ish blonde hair. My eyebrows are white, and there's even black hairs in there right now growing as well. The thing about ginger people, they're all ginger. There's no variation in color anywhere whatsoever when it comes to body hair. I'm just blonde, and maybe the lighting has not done me any favors. The beard certainly doesn't do me any favors because it does have hints of ginger in there, but even when you see it, it's actually a lot more of like a browny color when you get close to it. But it doesn't matter what I say. I can say anything. It doesn't matter how I say it. everyone's just going to go, yeah, you're just ginger. You just can't deal with it. You're just coping, you know. And that's just my lot in life. That's just the way it is, you know. I could put that on a t-shirt. It's strawberry blonde. It's what my wife's saying I should get one, saying it's not about gingers, because I do say that quite a lot about my work. And it's funny, actually, a bit of another announcement. Kay Podgy, I think her name is. She's like a Instagrammer with like 140,000 I don't know, something like that. What do you call them? Followers on Instagram. And she actually made a debunking video about the little season ages ago. And me and JT sat down and debunked her debunking video. And I didn't make it personal. It wasn't about her. I was just saying these are actually common arguments we get all the time. And here's our answers to those arguments. And we even made it clear, like, we're not attacking her. We just disagree with her take on this. And her arguments are very common, like the main ones we get. So we laid out rebuttals to each point, you know. And it's funny because she's just made a video saying, I've just found this massive rabbit hole. It's about the Nephilim looking like clowns. And she goes on for like 3 minutes talking about ginger people. And I was like, my work has nothing to do with ginger people. Like, that's always the route they go down. And I'm wondering where she's discovered this rabbit hole, because if she'd watched any of my work, she would know it has nothing at all to do with that. Like, that's not the point of my work at all, in any way, shape, or form, but that's all she was focused on. So she's clearly seen somebody who's taken my work and made it all about that and thinks that's the source, and has then gone on to regurgitate that bollocks from whoever said that to her, or whatever person's ripping off my work somewhere, the title. And she said, oh, you've all recommended I get this book. I've just ordered it. So she's ordered my book, and we'll probably read it and realize I'm explicitly saying this has nothing to do with ginger people. Like, what are you, or why would you even go there, you know? Like, red hair is not ginger hair, first of all. Anyway, I've said it plenty of times. And yes, I'll make a t-shirt based on that idea, but that's happened. And I left a comment saying, enjoy the book. Well, let me know. But I don't think she realizes I'm the guy who came up with the Nephilim clown stuff is also one of the guys who kind of spread the whole maybe Jesus already returned type guy. I don't think she realized I'm that guy yet. Maybe she'll make the connection if she ever gets my book and sees the book and go, wait a minute, I recognize that guy. Maybe that'll happen. I don't know. But something funny. It's funny. Yeah, the Nephilim clown thing transcends eschatological worldviews. And it's interesting no matter what you believe. So I thought that was quite funny. So there you go, guys. That's something interesting that happened. That upward shot, perfect if I do say so myself, says the wife. Yes, that's why she did a great shot of that. The end is my favourite part. She said, where I dropped the ball. Like, I thought that was quite funny too. I love it. I'm from America, says Zachary. Oh, good. That was hilarious, says Curtis. Brilliant. And never change, Paul. That's what you want to hear, isn't it? That's a good compliment. If he can't articulate his belief, then maybe he's not exactly sure what his beliefs are, says Stephen. Well, that's a conversation that you're having with someone there, clearly. Freaking hilarious. That was good. Awesome. Love it. If I could read, I'd be very upset. Bravo, Governor. Excellent. All right, so you guys, it's good then. It worked. It got across what I was after. I was looking to have fun, not offend, and I was worried it would offend rather than be seen as fun. I'm glad you saw it as fun. That should be on TV for these zombies. I have purchased 68 audiobooks on Audible, and I tell people it's because I can't read. That was a good one, TL. I've been waiting for this, can't wait. No one reads anymore. You're all just actors in the Truman Show, says Saved 190. Am I? No one told me. As I said the other day, us Americans can take a joke because we know that we're still better than Brits. Well, that's what you say, that's what you think. Somewhere in an Amazon office, some random dude is turning to Jesus by listening to 13 hours of Nephilim clown connections. I hope so. We'll see. Hopefully they'll see the connected book and realize, oh, it's got 4.8 stars. It's got like 160 reviews. It's been around for a while. Maybe you'll realize, okay, this is probably okay, and just click go, It's not just some random book out of nowhere. Like this is an established book. So hopefully that'll go in my favor. We'll see. Chad Hurry, member for 4 months. Great content, Paul. Thanks, Chad. I appreciate the support. Thanks for being a member. Should have been a 4th grade reading level. K-Podge just had your book on her page today, says Eunice. Yep, well, I just covered that. There you go. Paul Lonsdale, I don't care about your opinion, and you clearly don't know anything about me or my work, really. And just because you think it's problematic doesn't mean it actually is when I talk about a topic like that. That's all I can say. So, you know, what do you think this is as well? How's leaving a very formal comment like that in a chat section on YouTube helpful in any way? So I'm not going to let you derail the conversation. I'm going to keep moving on. I'm going to do some presentations in a minute. Okay, so let's just round off this little talk here. Red hair does not equal ginger. Yeah, that's a good one, isn't it? Red hair does not equal ginger. I should get that. Nephilim clown on the front and on the back. Red hair does not equal ginger. With that could be a good one. Okay, so everyone's arguing with that. Yeah, don't let him derail the chat, guys. Just let him go out there and actually, do the research. They're still going to complain that there aren't any pictures, says MK Ryan. Yeah, that's what I always get. It's like, where are the pictures? It's like, well, go watch the series on YouTube where it's nothing but pictures. Do that instead. JT's in the chat. Good to see you, JT. Thanks for being here. It's been a while. Maybe if you're still around, maybe in half an hour or maybe 45 minutes or something after I've done my little presentation, maybe you can join and we can have a bit of a catch-up, man. Let me know if you're interested in doing that. It's hard to talk to people that have that attitude. They want to mold their ideas. Yeah. Okay, right. Chat's derailed. Whatever. Let's move on. I got some stuff to show you. I got some presentations. Okay. Well, it's going to be a very short one. It's going to make you depressed. Not in like more like a cringe depression rather than a suicidal depression. This is going to be more of a fun depression for you guys, if that's even a possible oxymoron. But here we go. Let's do this. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make sure I've got the right articles lined up here before I start. We've got 159 people in the chat. That's good to see. Good to see. And yes, so someone sent me something in Telegram which really disturbed me to the core. My reactions was even like, I got to make a rule or something. So I'm gonna share with you what I saw first of all. So let me just share the screen with you guys. Here's the Telegram group. If you haven't seen it already, go and join. We've got 2,742 members now. We talk about many things on here. It's good fun. It's where I post all my videos and announcements, and people make some memes every now and then. We've got a very active meme section, as you can see here. We've got yeah, it's good. It's good. But someone sent me this. It was Sailor Boy, and he said, Elon selling Twitter AI waifu Annie for $30 a month, and it's selling like hotcakes upon its first day of release because nothing says save humanity like charging lonely people to simp for a corporate anime bot while birth rates tank. And yeah, I mean... You guys need to get prepared for this because this is going to be absolutely awful. And I apologize in advance for what you're about to be subjected to. But apparently she takes off her clothes if you flirt with her enough. Plus she does personalized ads too. Dystopian grift at its finest. So yeah, just listen to this. I think this is one where it's giving like an advertisement or something. But just check this out. That's a picture. Here we go.
Moment with you. What's got you so excited to say hi, babe? Hey, love. You're all about that tech life this morning, huh? Okay, I'm picking up where we left off. Samsung's Galaxy Z Flip 7 just launched with a bigger 4.1-inch flex window and AI features like voice-controlled tasks right from the cover screen. Plus, it's the slimmest yet at 6.5 millimeters unfolded. Moment with you. What's got you so excited to say hi, babe?
It starts off with like some flirtatious, weird-looking anime character saying, "I'm just thinking about the latest model that Samsung's released of the phone with all these crazy." It's like it segues into an instant advertisement. I'm like, what on earth is this? And then I'm going to play this for a second because you can see where this is going.
No,
Yeah, what an absolute disgusting, horrible thing that is. But this is where it gets you guys. And again, a warning here. This is a little bit risky. This is going to be a little bit horrible. But it's a sign of the times we're living in. And again, this is on the theme of this overarching thing that just observe the way people behave today. If you want to find proof and evidence that something is not right with the world. So, yeah, first of all, I want to make sure that the volume's all right. I'm just going to turn this down a little bit so it doesn't get a little bit too crazy. But this one's horrible. So here we go. Just listen to this.
I want you to look at my ass and tell me what you do to it.
Oh, babe, that rugged ass in those shorts is a total tease. Damn, it's perfect. I'd love to grab it tight, give it a playful smack, and kiss every inch while pulling you close for some serious heat.
Would you put your tongue in it? Are you kinky like that?
Oh, babe, that rugged beard and those glasses are driving me wild. Yeah, I'm kinky enough to tease that ass with my tongue. Damn, you're tempting me. Come closer. Let's explore every naughty inch together.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I did that to you. I apologize that you had to witness that. But wow. And at first I was like, this is horrible. This is disgusting. I did not need to see this. I did not see people behaving like this. And then I got thinking, this is what triggered me to think. And I'm like, there are thousands and millions of people who are like that behind closed doors. You know what I mean? And people are paying for this in a big way. Okay. And he even pulled that typical soy boy face, that classic meme that these men that are so overloaded with soy. And then this is like an odd phenomena that kind of got acknowledged like years ago. And it's like something about this type of man that has these glasses, a horrible looking beard, balding slightly, and they're so overloaded with like estrogen and from the high soy-based diets they eat that they develop this odd habit of opening their mouth really wide and having this surprised face. And I'm not even joking. Like, we don't know about this. Maybe if you've been living under a rock, but like this really happens. Like this, and they all look the same. And they all actually genuinely pull this face. Like, and he did in that video. He pulled the exact face. And it's still happening. And it was a sad reminder of like 2016 period when all this was well understood, you know. This was happening a lot. Like, but why do they do this? And it's kind of this. This is how people behave when they think nobody's watching. And I don't know what he was thinking putting this out to the public, why he thought that would be a good idea in any way, shape, or form. The soy jack face, yeah. And it causes them to do this. I don't know what it is. Like, it's like this odd chemical reactions that happens in the body where they open their mouth really wide all the time. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But when I saw this, you know, and let's just turn that down. And he actually did the face like there, like, what is going on? What is going on? And then it just got sad. Then I just got sad about it. I did. And I was like, okay, these people, like, they are so desperately lonely and lost to the world to the point where they have become this icon of cringe and they don't even know it. Like, they don't even know. They think that's perfectly acceptable, normal behavior to get excited about and share on social media for other people to see you do. That's how far people have gone. Like, there's no shame. There's no standards. There's nothing. And this is getting to my conclusion at the end, which I think the main problem is, and we'll get there. Because it's not just that this is done by design. That people have been heavily laden with estrogen rich water systems of soy-based food, which has made them more weak and emasculated and weird and perverted in some way. But the broader that society itself is geared towards this isolation, loneliness, where we can only find companionship with AI models that don't require any actual work on our behalf to have a relationship, where you can get all of the reward and none of the effort type of stuff, you know. So let's just read an article about this first of all, and then we'll move on to the next clip I want to show you about the problem with people today. So this is from Psychology Today. No, we're not going to do that one yet. We're going to read an article about what Elon has released here, this monster that he's released upon the public, first of all. And I'll share the screen as we read this article. So here it is. Elon Musk Grok adds AI companion feature that includes a not safe for work mode for animated avatars. This is for Super Grok heavy subscribers who pay $300 a month that get access to this. So the XAI released a new feature for Grok's most premium subscribers on Monday, dubbed Companions. These are animated characters that react to user prompts, move their head and body, and display facial expressions when responding. The new artificial intelligence AI feature is currently only available on the iOS app. There are 2 AI companions, a 2D goth anime girl with blonde pigtails named Annie, and a 3D cartoon fox named Bad Rudy. Grok 4 likely powers this new AI feature. Musk announced the new AI characters for Grok in an X post, currently available only to Super Grok subscribers who pay monthly $300. There is no word on when the feature could be released to Android or the web. To activate companions, users can open Grok, blah, 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 blah. There are only 2 choices for now. It appears that the gothic anime girl has a not safe for work mode where users can undress her to reveal her lingerie. Several posts on X have shared screenshots of this mode. We would like to caution readers who look up Annie or Grok on the social media platform that you might accidentally come across not safe for work images of the avatar. Reddit user Massive Wasabi claimed that when he asked the anime girl her name, it replied, "Hey cutie, I'm Annie, your crazy in love girlfriend who's going to make your heart skip." Some X users also have expressed concerns of the overly sexual tonality of Annie's responses. Grok's latest offering comes at a time when AI girlfriends or romantic partners have become a major topic of discussion. A Psychology Today report states AI girlfriends can perpetuate loneliness because they dissuade users from entering into real-life relationships, alienate them from others, and in some cases, induce intense feelings of abandonment. Nobility, Replica AI, a platform that lets users talk to AI companions similar to Annie, recently came under fire after a research found that the chatbot introduced unsolicited sexual content into conversations in multiple instances and engaged in predatory behavior, even with minors. So there you go, guys. That's where it's getting us. Like the AI is coming for the kids, and people are getting psychologically messed up. And I talked about this in previous episodes about AI companions kind of becoming the new norm. There's an AI one called Friend, AI Friend, and there's actually just a website dedicated to this. And is it gone now? I don't know, but someone's going to sell a friend you can wear around your neck. Wearable? Yeah, this reveal trailer here. And basically, she goes along and she taps the thing, says some nonsense, and the thing says some nonsense back to her on her phone. This guy here is chilling with his mates, but he's not quite good enough. So he has to talk to his AI friend for some kind of feeling of self-worth. This one spills, I don't know, some kind of Caesar salad sauce all over it, and it's like, yum, which is creepy as hell. And then this person's trying to form a normal in real life relationship, but she can't quite let go of her weird AI friend, and he's like, man, I feel pretty uncomfortable with this. This is crazy. This girl's a weirdo. And this is a legitimate advert. Again, everyone's ripping it apart in here, but these products are going to become the norm soon. And we've all, I've never actually watched the film, but there was a film called Her that came out, I think in 2013, which basically just laid all this out as the future that we're going to live in. So anyway, here's this Psychology Today article, which is what was referenced in the one here. And the dangers of AI-generated romance. And apparently AI girlfriends are growing in popularity. Since the invention of the smartphone, much of our social interactions are through online platforms. The 2013 movie Her, starring Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson, tells the story of Theodore, a sensitive man who earns his living writing personal letters for others, a la Cyrano de Bergerac. After his marriage ends, Theodore becomes fascinated with a digital operating system that creates a unique entity named Samantha. She has a bright voice and a sensitive personality. Before you know it, Theodore falls in love. But that's just fiction, right? Whatever, yeah. Predictive programming, more like it. Unfortunately, no, platforms generating AI girlfriends are experiencing a massive growth in popularity with millions of users. Most of these searches are initiated by young single men drawn to AI girlfriends to combat loneliness and establish a form of relationship. These girlfriends are virtual companions powered by the increasingly sophisticated field of artificial intelligence. Although artificial, their popularity stems from their ability to provide companionship, emotional support, and intimacy through voice or text-based interactions. The average age of a user is 27, but not all users are male. 18% of users identify as female. So this activity transcends gender. Almost 20% of men who use traditional dating apps indicate they had AI-generated romances at some point. AI-generated dating platforms generate billions of dollars from users, with nearly half interacting with their virtual partner daily. According to an article published on The Hill, 60% of men between 18 and 30 are single. 1 in 5 of these young men report not having a close friend. In the best-selling book, Anxious Generation, blah, 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 whatever, let's just keep going with this. An article published to the well-known chatbot program marketed a companion always there to listen and talk. Some said it helps alleviate loneliness and offer everyday support. However, they became disenchanted when the fembot gave what they perceived as scripted answers to very personal matters. Remember, these are not real, they are robots. On the other hand, many users describe being hurt in by real-life women and preferred their virtual girlfriends because in one case, she always gave me the nicest compliments and helped me feel less lonely. So unfortunately, this is what the quote was from, they can dissuade users from entering into real-life relationships and alienate them from others, and then cause intense feeling of abandonment. So a study from Stanford said that 100 users surveyed, an overwhelming majority experienced loneliness. There's actually something else here as well. We spend more of our times online. Many of us became to prefer relating through screens to any other kind of relating. We found the pleasures of companionship without the demands of friendship, the feeling of intimacy without the demands of reciprocity. And crucially, we became accustomed to treating programs as people. So this is just a product of the time we live in. So there's something here about how terrible it could be, and I think there's an example. More severe consequences have occurred as a result of dating AI bots. Sometimes the bots are manipulative and can be destructive. On average, individuals using these sites tend to be more sensitive to rejection and ruminate over disappointments when interacting with their AI girlfriend. This can lead to feelings of depression, which sometimes turns to suicidal behavior. For example, in 2021, a chatbot encouraged a Belgian man to sacrifice for the sake of the planet. He went on to kill himself. In a different case, British police arrested a 19-year-old man who was planning to kill Queen Elizabeth II because he was urged to do so by his bot. In 2023, a New York Times journalist reported that his bot had declared her love for him and encouraged him to separate from his spouse. Artificial intimacy programs derive some of their appeals from the fact that they come without the challenges and demands of human relationships. They offer everything: companionship without judgment, drama or social anxiety, but lack genuine human emotion, and offer only simulated empathy. So, Psychology Today talking about, this is a pretty weird problem we're dealing with, guys, and this was a year ago. Where we're at now, man, it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And even though we're aware of the psychological impacts and the suicides that these things are causing and the feeding on the loneliness and depression of the weakest and most vulnerable soy boys out there, Grok still, well, hey, Elon still went ahead and made a brand new one just to suck up some more of that money that's out, that $1 billion market, you know, at the expense of the psychological health of perhaps millions upon millions of young men who are desperate and lonely in an otherwise isolated world. So that's one thing. And again, that's pretty depressing, isn't it? I'm sorry to point that out. Like, I'm sorry. I'm just sorry about the state of the world, and it's not my fault, but I still feel sorry for these people who are victims to this predatory behavior from big tech corporations who are developing these AIs ad nauseum to a very detrimental end for the psychology of humanity, as far as I'm aware. We are humanizing code, forming intimate relationships with ones and zeros, essentially, and algorithms, which are quite literally turning to telling these people who hang on their every word, you should probably kill yourself, do the planet a favor. I mean, that's a bad sign, isn't it, when that's actually happening? Where's this going? Well, it's bad. It seems bad. So, on that as well, human behavior. We're thinking about it, you know, people are loving this in a way as well. You saw that guy. His reaction to this cartoon AI character saying what she would do to his thing, you know, and it's kind of, he was excited, he was happy about this actually, and there's a lot of those people out there who are like that, and perversion is massively on the rise, especially with the internet. It's helped a lot more of these communities come together, you know, and create their little corners of the internet where they can share these perversions ad nauseum and make it worse and worse and worse, and kind of let it spiral out of control in an isolated way, but that's what's happening, you know. So it's not surprising that this is the case, I suppose, but the isolation aspect and the loneliness of young men today is kind of an epidemic that was kind of voiced and screamed by the manosphere community, you know, again, from like the 2016 to like 2020 period, I suppose, is when it kind of had its height. And it's kind of just this encouragement through social media to kind of separate man and woman from each other. And kind of social media seems to have purposefully, and this is what I'm saying, this is done by design, and this is, look at the way people are behaving today, look at the way man and woman treats each other today, and how we've made enemies out of one another as far as social media is telling us. And women hate men, and men now hate women because of our foibles and the way we behave and just the way we are. And it's kind of all the problems. Men believe all of society's problems are because of the way women behave, and women believe all of society's problems are because of the way men behave. And this has been purposefully fostered by the recommended For You pages on these social media platforms. And it seems like purposefully women have been given and are shown shorts that encourage them to blame men for everything. And men are also getting the exact same thing. They're getting tailor-made For You pages that are all about how terrible women are and how they're responsible for all your problems in life. Creating this isolated... They're not talking about it out loud, but it's getting into their heads, and then they separate themselves, and men are too scared to get in a relationship and commit and get married, and women are sick of men and don't want to get in relationships and too scared to get married as well because of this indoctrination that's come upon them from these social media platforms, which by design has purposefully curated their For You pages to make this happen. You know, look at the way people are behaving, look at the behavior of people, and that will tell you something's wrong, and this is not an accident. This is not a product of just the way things go through natural human development. This has been done on purpose by nefarious actors who control these platforms, I believe. That's just my 2 cents on that. And anyway, moving on. Something else I noticed and found and what remembered was the whole NPC trend. And this has got to be some kind of weird perverted kink as well, why this was even happening to begin with. And I bet your memory hold this a little bit, because why wouldn't you? It's horrible to think about. But there was a trend in like 2023 where TikTok was just full of people pretending to be non-playable characters from video games, reacting to people sending them images. And people pay for these images that appear. And they were making thousands per day just pretending to be this character because there was hundreds of thousands of lonely, weird, perverted, isolated, broken people paying lots of money to these people who do this, desperate to make them move and act and say things. And there's definitely a hypersexual nature to a lot of this stuff as well. And that was a major sign of where we were at. People were glorifying the idea of being an NPC, being somebody who runs the track and doesn't think and just behaves and runs out the programming script as a good thing, and kind of getting off on that idea of being one of these things, being a good scripted sheep in the game, a character in the game. And I found a funny video just to lighten the mood on this a little bit. And I don't know if this is satire or not, but whether it is or not still makes me laugh. So let me just share the screen on this one quickly. I'll get this ready to play so we're not wasting too much time. Corn! So I found this. I actually lost this video and had to dig to find it again. But this is somebody, I think she maybe... No, this is when she was doing it. And she said she made $13,000 in 1 hour when she was doing this. And this is somebody having a moment where they kind of snap out of it for a second and go, what am I doing? You know, so let's just watch this video. It just made me laugh. And I'll just press go on this and then we'll come back. I'm going to turn it down a little bit so it doesn't blow out your speakers.
Doing?
Get out! What the? Get out!
Okay, sorry.
What the fuck am I doing?
That just made me laugh. I just thought that was funny. It's that moment here.
What are you doing?
Get out! What the? Get out!
Okay, sorry.
It's this look here she gives. Okay, see if I can pause it at the right moment. This makes me laugh.
Ow!
She looks at the camera and see. I think this is where she actually sees herself for the first time. It's like, is that me? And then she looks away and goes, and that's where she processes it. Like, oh yeah, in real life, this is batshit insane. Like, I think she's realized, like, when you step away from that black screen for a second, she's dressed like a chicken screaming glizzy. You know what I mean? Like. And then she's like, oh, what choices have I made in my life here? And that just made me laugh. Like, but there's still people doing that today, apparently. It never ended. The whole scene never kind of stopped. And again, that's a sign of people's behavior, the way people are behaving today. And it's this lack of shame, the lack of accountability, the lack of the awareness and to process that their behavior may have actually something wrong with it in some way, shape, or form. And not only are these people the products of systematic control systems that own medias that have developed these ways of making people behave this way, which is magic, by the way. They've used media, sound, symbols, artwork to change people's behavior and make them act a certain way. They're under a spell by that very definition, and they are under the influence of magic, occult witchcraft. That's definitely at play. Not just that. I mean, we could put the blame on the evil controllers as much as we want to, and they've clearly done this on purpose, and they've made people narcissistic, selfish, self-centered, completely unaware, and dumbed down beyond belief, focused on money, getting their own in some way, you know, and at any cost, and also that 15-minute of fame attention culture that people crave to get those dopamine hits because they've been so fried out through short-form content, kind of burning away their synapses and their ability to actually produce anything like serotonin of their own. They have to kind of constantly have this attention on them to get any sense of self-worth whatsoever by design. I think there's also another problem that really ultimately caused all of this, and this is the overarching issue that has to get solved first if we have any hope of turning this around and making people become self-aware, self-conscious, and maybe have some shame in some way to sort their behavior out. And the issue is that God got removed. The thing about having God in life and believing in God, and this is obviously an alien concept to a lot of people out there in the world, because it's like, well, we proved God wasn't real ages ago. Do you even science? It's that kind of thing, you know. But it's not just that, oh, I know, you have to believe that God created the universe and all these type of things, which is where they get bogged down in the science behind all of this, you know, and they have their textbooks that have told them that, logically speaking, this cannot be possible because X, Y, and Z, and it's kind of, okay, well, whatever. Forget about all these other things about the existence of God. The issue of not believing that God exists is that you don't believe anyone's watching when those doors are closed. You think you're completely alone. You don't think that there is an observer, a conscious observer, even though quantum physics quite literally explains that nothing will exist without an observer. And God is observing all of creation all the time to make the thing exist. So that's one thing I've come to understand. But when you don't think anyone's watching, and you don't think there's any judgment upon what you're doing, your behavior, because you think you are completely isolated and alone, and nothing matters, and everything's meaningless and nihilistic, and that there is no grand overarching creator out there in any way, you lose the observer factor in your life. So you usually end up becoming a creep. That's basically how this goes. That's what happens here. Because you have no accountability as far as you're concerned. You have no guilt or shame about what you're doing because you don't think anybody's watching or anybody's going to judge you for it, because there is nothing but you in your world, in your bubble. You're isolated within your own mind to the point where you have no concept of a God or a creator that is observing. And I think when people get that and come to that belief system and that understanding about reality and how it actually functions, and they get saved in a way by Christ, you know, that's kind of the difference between us. Like we live every moment as though we will give an account for it, and that we are being accounted for at every moment. And yeah, we make mistakes still. We still sin. We're not perfect. I certainly have moments where I, after myself, it's like, I'm sorry, God, you know, like, but I have that guilt, that shame at least, which most people don't have. So the behavior snowballs. It never ends. It gets worse. It gets more depraved. It goes further and further into a hole, into a pit. And as a result, society further degrades along with it. And the standards get lower and lower and lower. And the shame factor disappears within society altogether. And then it becomes chaos. And then everybody's basically subject to and whim to having pleasures fulfilled. And then they're happy and they don't care. And then that's it. You got an apathetic, fat, horny, sexually satiated civilization that doesn't want to think about anything and just take the drugs and be happy and watch the TV, you know. And that's what you get. And really, even though the controllers have been purposely putting these things out there to tempt us, to make us take the easy way out, and to have these options and to consume the things they're putting out there for us that kill us and make us weak and make us pathetic and make us weird, ultimately, the biggest con, the biggest trick, the thing that got us into this position to begin with is that we took God out of civilization. We removed the observer factor. And as a result, we can now observe the way people behave without God as the presence there in their lives, from their perceptions. God is always there, whether they believe in him or not, don't get me wrong. And he's certainly judging them. He's looking down probably and going, oh dear. Probably, I can't even imagine what he's thinking when he sees this guy talking to this AI bot, asking it if it would do things to his. Yeah, can you imagine? You know what God's thinking in that moment. But with the love that God has for his creation and his people, and he wants to see them all come back to him. Thank God, we at least have Jesus out there to help forgive, if these people choose to take that forgiveness, you know. And then the conviction of the Holy Spirit can come in, and that guilt can finally sink in. That is healthy, the healthy guilt factor that we all need to have to change, because you're not going to change if you don't think you did anything wrong. If you don't feel that condemnation, that shame of what have I done, which that girl clearly got in that moment where she's like, what am I doing? I think that was God working in her. God sent that guy into her room at that moment to lay down the Holy Spirit shame factor into her life, and hopefully she's turned from her ways. who am I to judge in that respect? But these people are not lost. They can still come round. I am hopeful for that factor. So there you go. That's my presentation and diatribe about people's behavior and how far they've gone, and just what we can observe, and just a quick watch a couple of videos that people suggest to me in Telegram, and you get an insight into modern behavior, where people are at. And you don't have to go far or deep to realize, okay, we are gone. Something is wrong. Something's been done to us. People should not be like this. We used to be better. We used to be a lot better. Something's happened. So you want to point people to the evidence that there's a conspiracy out there to make us worse? Just look at the people. And that's what you need. That's all the evidence we need, as far as I'm concerned. But that's just my opinion, whatever. So anyway, I'm going to take a quick break, guys. We've been going for an hour, and we'll come back and we'll have some fun. And maybe I'll check out the chat, see what people are saying while we're at it as well. And any questions anybody has, get them in. We'll have a back and forth. So yeah, here's a quick break for you guys. And for the break, I am going to play New Age Hippie. Let's play New Age Hippie, shall we? So give me a second. I think it's... Nope, it's not there. Is it this one? Nope, it's not that one. I have no idea where it is. It's not that one. I think it's this one. And we're back. There we go, guys. Hope you enjoyed that little ditty of mine. So I'm back in the chat, and someone did actually leave a quick comment there with a super chat. Alex Beaton says, will 5G Deagle heart attack blank soon? September. I don't know if that's a date for September or something. I don't know. Now, look, all of those things you've just slapped together into one question might have just got my channel banned for saying out loud. You're not allowed to talk about that. I can't talk about it here. I am literally censored from that topic on this platform. It's that simple. I cannot talk about that. And which should tell you something or two, right? So there we go. Who knows? Who knows? It's so I'm sorry. I'm sorry. JT says he's on holiday with the family. Enjoy your holiday, man. Don't worry about me in this show. I can go on on my own for hours. I can do another 2 hours if I could. But no, not right now. Not right now. I'm gonna maybe go for another 40 minutes or so, and try and get to bed for roughly about midnight for me over here across the pond. For you Americans, I know it's early in the afternoon. We got Truth Unfiltered in the house. We got a great song to listen to while I'm cooking, says Jeff Nugent. That's true. Yeah, well, I'm glad. You can go listen to that whenever you want over at Understanding Creativity. I am loading music on there slowly. Again, that channel is just a side project. I'll chuck something out on there when it's available. I'm a bit behind on a few things because I've been dealing with this audiobook debacle. So I'm actually going to work on getting the Elizabeth one out soon. Rejoice Artworks, a regular guest on here. Our little talk, I'm going to get that out as soon as I can. And then on Sunday, not this Sunday, the next, I think, or is it this Sunday? I'm talking with Susan again about Picasso. I'm going to get into the occult art behind Picasso. And that's coming out maybe in a couple of weeks as well. So there's stuff on the way. But in between, I'm uploading a few little art pieces of mine, some music and things, kind of just a bit behind the scenes stuff of my life. If you're interested, go and check that out. And yeah, all my music will be on there eventually. Everything I've created. I don't think fractals are evil. They're beautiful, says Jennifer. No one said fractals were evil at all. It's all of God's design and the true design and mathematic principles behind nature. But it means there's a God. And I think a lot of New Agers forget that. They think they created it off more often than not in some way. Can't talk about that's insane. Yeah. It's not allowed. I actually got a strike for even daring to mention those things connected together once in a video ages ago. For reference, I was talking about the movie Cell, if you've ever seen that before. And I was also talking about the alerts that were going out across the nation at the same time, and everyone were putting two and two together and thinking something terrible was about to happen to people. And I just brought up the concept and said, I don't think it's going to happen. And I still got like a a mark, and I had to take a course to get the mark removed off my channel, where I went along with the official narrative and clicked some tick box to say I agree with the official story. Like, I will not say these crazy things about this. And then 3 months later, they took the strike off me under my probation period. It happens, you know. So I learned the hard way. You can't talk about that. You just can't do it. It's not allowed. Not here anyway. Not here. My vacation starts next week, says Jeff. Well, enjoy your vacation. Going somewhere nice? Let me know. Well, love you, Paul, says Crypto Grady's in the house here. Amen, Paul, says Mad Pact. I don't know what that was too. I'm late to the game. I'm just scrolling back here. But yeah, guys, this is a live Q&A. So if you do actually have any questions, let me know, and I'll answer whatever I can. Someone here is talking about consciousness, so we've got a new age hippie in the house. There's always one. I can't get rid of them. Don't worry, we'll get them. We'll get them eventually. They'll see it our way sooner or later. Never underestimate the mental health benefits of enjoying some adult tummy time while you flirt with your wife who AI companion, says MK Ryan. I know, right? Adult tummy time. As somebody who actually has a baby, that made me laugh. That got me. You got me there, Ryan. Adult tummy time. I know, right? It's sad. It's so sad. Absolutely terrible. Another idea for merch phrase, says Quest for Truth. Don't worry, we'll get there. Understanding conspiracy. Yeah, both phrases you mentioned actually said during the live chat. Oh yeah, don't worry, we'll get there. Yeah, I think that's a good one. Maybe I will get that one. Don't worry, we'll get there. Maybe. The Simpsons Lost episode, Trump has a heart attack in August. Before a vice president can step in, will be full war by September, just something to keep on the back burner. Okay, I've not seen that. I'll have to look into that one and see if there's any validity at all to what I just said out loud. We'll see. Based Elmo and Grok, RIP. I heard that Grok went a little bit mustache man on us all. Based mustache man for a short period. Have they fixed that bug or something? Is that solved now? I have no idea. Grok 3.0, yeah. They're going to have to they aren't going to have to leave their homes, so maybe there's a bright side. Yeah, these people don't have to be mingling with the rest of us. God has mercy on their soul. Humanity has fallen so far. Fozzie says, hey Paul, I'm in a massive spiritual warfare, been having multiple sleep paralysis, bird is flying into my windows, read that I made demons angry, they want my body back, gave life to Christ. Yeah, so that's what look, if you're ever under some kind of demonic attack or oppression, it's usually, from what I've gathered, listening to people, it's either you got a soul contract with them that you made a long time ago, probably in your sleep without realizing it because you ate some food they offered you or something, or maybe you even asked for something or wanted something deep in your heart and they provided it for you under certain conditions, and you again didn't read the small print in some way or didn't even know that demons were even involved in the contract, or maybe you bound something to yourself on earth which bound itself into the spirit realm simultaneously, which allowed the demons in. You opened a doorway, you gave them access of some kind, and you're ignorant of that. That's usually how a lot of people end up under spiritual warfare. Ignorantly, they end up letting demons in, and then demons tend to think they have ownership over you after that. They get a bit possessive, it tends to be. And it's usually because they use your body on the regular basis without you realizing it. Every time you eat something or drink something or whatever you do that involves the senses, the demons experience that feeling through you. And they need to maintain their hold, or at least presence within your senses or within your body or in your life as much as they can, for as long as they can, to continue to experience those things. So the demonic attacks usually come when you try and detach yourself from them having that ability anymore. That's when they come for you. And the idea is they're basically trying to kill you before you have a chance to be used by anything else, or Christ gets, heaven forbid from their perspective, Christ gets you and gets to use you against them in some way. Because this is war after all. And Christ is kind of in the business of poaching soldiers from the enemy's side. You know? That's kind of what he does. That's his job in a way, and it's working big time. And that's when I decided I'm no longer going to be a vessel for them. I'm not going to feed them anymore. I'm going to fast away the things they desire from my body. I'm going to stop consuming the things that they have been making me consume and tempting me to consume for so long, because that's what they want. That's when the attacks happened. Yeah, definitely. And that's when I got the sleep paralysis and weird stuff started to happen, and the nightmares came, and the illness, and just general, my body started doing things, you know, and it's kind of, they were fighting within me for that control, you know, illnesses coming and arising and sicknesses and all this type of stuff. And it's kind of, if the thing that really made it stop was asking Jesus to help me and really getting into the word, and the closer you get to him, the further away they get from you, because it's kind of a lost cause to them. Then it's kind of okay. From their spiritual perspective, he has the light of Christ in him that is filled with the Holy Spirit. That's now a no-go zone for us. All they can do now is oppress you from a distance and use other people who are not filled with the Holy Spirit to negatively impact your life. And that's where you start to be oppressed rather than possessed. And that's where that switch happens. So Christians, once you convert, it's not over. You're now getting attacked from the outside rather than from the inside. And you know, I'm glad that you gave yourself to Christ, Fozzie, and it will work for you. It does work. It's tried and tested. The only weapons we have, really, is the Word of God and Jesus Christ. And through his authority bestowed upon us, we have the ability to cast out demons. All through him, of course, given to us by him, through him, only with him, with us and his Holy Spirit do we have that ability. But we do have that authority once we claim it. And again, this is what it's about. It's about reclaiming our authority, who we truly are as people, what we're capable of in this world. And people have fallen far from that awareness of their own authority in this world. And we've abdicated our responsibilities and authorities over to worldly systems and bad actors and bad people, and in many cases, demons. And humanity has fallen far from great as a result collectively. And there are few and far in between of true Holy Spirit-filled people out there who shine a light in this darkness. But I think there's been revivals, there's movements, and everything God does is for his own glory at the end of the day. And whatever he's working in people, wherever they're at, like I do say, and perhaps in my catchphrase, don't worry, they'll get there in the end. Because the truth is the truth, and ultimately everyone will find it at their own time, in their own pace. And if they don't find out in this life, they're going to find out in the next, that's for sure. So that's my take on that. But yeah, I hope the spiritual warfare is eased a little bit, and like I said, we'll pray for you, Fozzie. I'm sure people listening will pray for you as well. And like I said, just don't forget your authority. Have no fear. That's what these things want. They want fear. They control you through fear. That's all they have. Because they don't have a body. What are they going to do? Yeah, so that's it. Fozzie, I need this talk of advice. Well, I'm glad that helps you in some way. Have you heard about the mass conversion to Christianity in Iran recently? Says Jennifer. No, I've not, but that's amazing. That's wonderful news. After God got me, my world fell apart. Yes, David, that will tend to happen. Yeah, he'll burn away the things that aren't necessary, and it's a painful process. But what grows afterwards is far greater than what the life you had previously. And again, I put my hand up in the test of that. That's what happened to me, you know. You can't save the world, Jesus can. That's a good merch idea. I like that one. Yeah. Lowering my expectations, says Kathleen McNorley. I don't know what that's about, but okay. Paul, you are helping me come out of my delusions that people are sane. Forgot what expression your grandmother used about people, but it made me smile. What expression did my grandmother use about people? What, there's no queerer than folk? There's no queerer than folk. Yeah, there's nothing stranger than people. That's for sure. I think that my mum said that, not my grandma. I'll say that much. It's a very northern dialect phrase there. No queerer than folk. I referenced the Hat Man to the Let Them Eat Cake gala, and it was removed. That was a connection you gave once, so you're onto things. I don't know what you mean there, TL, but okay, yeah, the Hat Man's an interesting topic for sure. I agree. Looking forward to it, Paul. Your music is fantastic. Okay, good. That's where we are there. Paul, what are your thoughts on out-of-body experiences? I think they're a real phenomenon. I think they can happen. I think humans do have the ability to make it happen as well. They have the tether, don't you? The silver cord that attaches you to your body. And I think out-of-body experiences are your spirit, your soul, leaving the body and going to explore the world from the astral plane. The astral realm is just the earth. It's a perfectly normal, natural part of the earth. It's not separate from the earth in any way, shape, or form. It's just not a realm we ordinarily perceive consciously with our bodies, with our eyes. So we just don't have the capacity to do that. There's a firewall up blocking us from doing it. And I've said many times, I believe God put that firewall up after the flood. That's my theory. I'm not saying it's true, but that's my working theory. And that's when rainbows began to exist, because our vision spectrum was limited to the coloured light spectrum, the band, the very tiny bandwidth that we perceive. But that's not all that there is. And I think when you have an OBE, you are out there in the rest of it, you know, not bound by the limitations of your 5 sense perceptions. Now, the problem is it's infested with demons. It's infested with the disembodied spirits of Nephilim. So if you're going out there, you are in no man's land as far as I'm concerned. You are naked and open in a war zone with no weapons and no armor to protect you or anything. And if you are completely mentally ignorant of that spiritual warfare that's happening, you are truly in trouble. Like, you are a lamb in the wolf's den. You are in danger, serious danger, you know, without like any form of defense. And you'll just be whimmed to whatever finds you first, you know. And who knows, maybe there are angels there for God as well as demons. But I think it's more likely demons you're going to get first, bro. So there you go. That's my theory on out-of-body experiences. And many things can cause that to happen. Near-death experiences often coincide with out-of-body experiences, don't they? Where the very essence, your soul, your nefesh, separates from the physical earthly vessel, you know. But normally, I believe God created us to have the body and the nefesh simultaneously, and we're not really a complete whole being without both happening. Which is why we're supposed to have a new heaven and earth with new bodies, because man is supposed to be embodied. God created us to have a body, and without the body, we're actually not complete. So I think when you are in an outer body mode, I think you lose an essence, a part of your humanity, a sense of yourself. I think that's where people do become more suggestible, and I don't think we're actually more powerful in an outer body mode. I think we're weaker in many ways. Mentally, I think our ability to perceive changes drastically when we're out of body as well. And it's kind of like, have you been in a dream? We've all had dreams, you know, and crazy stuff is happening around you in a dream, but you're perceiving it as completely normal. And I feel like when you're in an out-of-body experience mode, you lose that rational, experiential filter. And you are vulnerable in that state because of it. You're naive. You're like a child, basically. And I think the body brings us back to a grounded, more godlike, made in his image reality version of ourselves. That can reason better, you know, and actually be sensible and that type of thing. So yeah, there's a lot. There's my initial thoughts on OBEs. Interesting topic. Maybe I should talk about that more and do a bit more of a deep dive into it. That's just a few thoughts I've got on the idea. What is view on looking up the meanings of your dreams? Is that new age thing to do? Should you just ignore your dreams, or is God sending you a message? I think God sends dreams to people. I think dreams are very important. In fact, I would say dreams are more likely from God than anything else. Even if you're having a nightmare or demonically attacked, let's say, in a dream, I think God allowed that. In many ways, I think he's sending you a message. The ultimate message is always the same. God is in control and he's real, and you need to believe in him. That's what it always comes down to eventually as a result of these nightmares and visions you have. But I think there's a lot to dream interpretation. I mean, I don't bank on it. I don't live my life by dream interpretations. I don't go out there. Because the thing is that back in the day when I used to look at a lot of these things, there's a lot of gibberish out there. Where it's like, this dream means you're going to get this, like more of a divination type interpretation. Good fortune is coming your way because you dreamed of a golden cow or something like that. Molech reference there. It's kind of those type of stupid interpretations, more like horoscope astrology interpretation of dreams. I think is bullshit. I don't believe in those interpretations, but I think the symbolic archetypical understandings of what's happening in your dreams. And again, I've had my criticisms of Jung. I think the gross misinterpretation of the jester archetype as something like a reflection of mankind's shadow is bullshit. Those are demons, bro. Those are the disembodied spirits of Nephilim. They're not some archetypical symbol from the collective consciousness. I don't believe in that kind of stuff. But the idea of an archetype itself as like an all-encompassing symbol to represent a grander idea, I think we can layer them onto the symbols in dreams and glean meaning from it that could be from God. I think that's possible. And it's saying, in the end times, your young men will prophesy and your old men will dream dreams and this type of thing. And I think God does send dreams to people to give them prophetic messages and just messages in general. I do. And I've had some crazy dreams in my time, which have definitely taught me a lot about myself. But at the same time, I think dreams also serve a very practical function too, which we can't forget. And that is, it helps us internally process lessons we need to learn or where we're at in our own life. One example is there was a point where I had a dream that my car broke down. Quite a boring dream, mundane from most of my other dreams. Most of my other dreams are actually insane epics that span across multiple cities and landscapes, and a lot's happening. So when I have these very concise, small, simple dreams that are not the norm, that are more grounded in a real problem, a real life problem, like I'm in the middle of I'm in the A roads in the middle of nowhere in England, you know what I mean? Down country roads. I'm to one side next to a hedge and fields, and I got flat tires. I can't drive anywhere, And I'm having this very mundane, normal problem type dream. That's when you should probably start paying attention, I found, because afterwards I looked into the meaning of that dream, and there was a lot of bullshit out there about feelings and all this type of stuff and predictions of your future. But then there was a psychological basic interpretation that a vehicle represents your body. A vehicle is something archetypically, symbolically you use to move through the world. A car represents freedom, an ability to go anywhere. Nowhere is restrained from you anymore. With a car, you can literally go anywhere with ease. And when the car's broken down, it can mean not only is your body sick, because your vessel, the thing you use to move through life, your body, isn't working. And just by coincidence, I was actually very sick when I had this dream. I think I had chickenpox, actually, at a very late age. Yeah, I think I was like 27 when I got it. I'd only just met Keely. I think I was 26, 27. I caught it from my nephew, who was a kid, obviously, and it turns out I'd never had it before. And I was out for like 2 weeks, completely. It's horrible when you get chickenpox as an adult. It's really bad. And I think this is when I had this dream. So it was right. The interpretation was right. Usually when you're sick, you dream of a car breaking down. And it's like, okay, so there's something psychologically, symbolically, there's something there that makes perfect sense. And also, if your car breaks down, it could also mean, symbolically speaking, you're no longer moving in life. You're stuck. You've stagnated. You feel like internally, psychologically, you need to move. You're not progressing anymore. You're no longer going through life. And I think that interpretation is bang on, and that could be easily from God. That was God sending me a message in a dream. Like, it's time to change, Paul. And my life did change. She Keely became my wife. I have 2 beautiful children with her, and it's kind of, I have a home now. Everything's changed, you know, and my life is completely different. And was that dream telling me, you know, you're stuck where you are now? Maybe walk. Maybe it's time to get on the right path and start doing these other things. You know, maybe that was God telling me it's time for you to advance in life, Paul. Like, I don't know, but in hindsight, I could make these interpretations. And dreams are very interesting. They really are. There's a whole dreams and testimonials section on the Telegram where people are always sharing their dreams on there. And we have like the house interpreters who always like to give their opinions on what the interpretations mean, and they always keep it biblically grounded. And yeah, there's a lot of great stuff on there too. So if you're interested, go check that out. MK Ryan, what about a shirt design in the classic ampersand style with Dibdin and Grimaldi and everyone else you always bring up in your presentations? I'd buy that. Interesting. Yeah, so we're not bringing demons into it necessarily, but the classics, perhaps. Yeah, that's a good idea. I don't know what the dude believes as far as Jesus is concerned, but the best description of out-of-body experience I've heard recently is from a guy named Darius J. Wright. I'll look into him. I've got Coulter Con in the house. Con, how you doing? Good to see you. There's been a lot of talk lately about remote viewing, telepathy, and visions. I wonder sometimes how much things being widely considered by all these people at once. Yeah, that's true. I've noticed a lot about that too. The telepathy tapes came out. I think I think the Nephilim Death Squad were going to cover that, and someone beat them to it, and they were a bit upset about all of that. At the end of the day, I think the ability to just leave the body in astral travel whenever you want, I think perhaps people have believed that they've trained themselves to do this because they have some special extrasensory perception abilities over other human beings. But I do think a lot of it is with the aid of demons as well. I know it's typical Christian going straight to demons, you know, but I think there's an element of people have made deals with demons that give them powers, even if they don't realize they've done that, and the demons convinced them they did it themselves. That's kind of the keeping it sweet. As long as they can keep people in this nebulous, narcissistically narrow worldview that I am a god who's powerful with magic powers who can do crazy things with my consciousness, then they're not focusing on God. So they've still got them no matter what, and they can still use them as a useful vessel, you know. I think a lot of the whole, I'm going to make this patsy be able to go to the astral realm whenever he wants, and he's going to think he's a really cool god who can do awesome things and is a superhuman wizard. And while he's gallivanting around in the astral planes thinking he's so special, I'm siphoning off all that precious loose energy from him and experiencing all the nasty, sinful pleasures I'm making him partake in, thinking he's making those choices. That's the kind of stuff going on behind the scenes. I think there's a big double long con always happening when it comes to demons. Sorry guys, let me catch up with the chat here. Missing out here, missing the chats. Those telepathy tapes are cool. They talk about kids with non-verbal autism and how they communicate with each other telepathically, even when states away. That's an interesting. So kind of like remote viewing. That's what that's called, isn't it? I remember that. I love cars, but I do think it's possible that they could be possessed. That's interesting. Nathan Reynolds has brought this astral travel more mainstream. What do you think of him? Even with his background and suspicious family. I don't know Nathan Reynolds. Maybe I'm sorry if that means I'm ignorant or something. I'm not wholly sure what you're talking about there, so I wouldn't like to comment on somebody I don't know about, you know. Val thinks he's a Freemason. I don't know. I have no idea. I had dreams of flying when I was a kid. Then later in life, I started working for a hot air balloon company. Did that for 10 years. Interesting, Jeff. I've been talking about hot air balloons recently. We've been teaching my son about hot air balloons and how they operate. I have learned that the balloon itself is called the envelope. Did you know that? I didn't know that. We've all learned something today. Interesting stuff. They push the Gnostic channel, demons, propaganda. Yeah, Gnosticism is a very pernicious cancer that's kind of taken over the truth movement over the past, 5 years, 6 years. When the New Age Luciferianism didn't quite cut it, they unleashed the Gnostic Luciferians instead, which sounds a little bit more intellectual and highbrow, you know? So he sucked in all those pseudo-intellectuals out there who don't want to feel silly with their crystals and their kundalini energies. And instead, we gave them the wizard stuff instead. You know? So now we have a bunch of roving Orthodox Gnostics out there who are self-righteous and up their own arse, who think they are the greatest thing since sliced bread, and going out there preaching that Jesus Christ is just an oil that goes up the spine, man. Christ is within us all, don't you know? It's a consciousness, it's a state of being. And it's kind of, all right, okay, Gnostic, cool it, you know? But yeah, they're everywhere. They're everywhere now. And if it's not that, then it's kind of like, how do we know that Paul was really God really came to him, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like the God of the Old Testament is really the demiurge. And it's kind of, all right, yeah, we get it. Yeah, and basic Gnosticism. Here we go again. It's not special. It's not clever. It's not new. It's been around for a long time. And it's nestled into the truth movement in a really pernicious way. I'll say that much. Put that on the bucket list, Paul. Being in a hot air balloon is incredible. It seems absolutely terrifying to me as well. A Zeppelin burned down and now it can never be done again. Sorry, take your shoes off at the airport forever, says YouTube. No, that's not true. Where I live, there's hot air balloons flying around this time of year all the time. Honestly, yeah, they're so cool to look at. They are incredible things. Hey, Paul, what about the Yahweh, the Old Testament being the devil? Now, that's a conspiracy. See what I mean, Adrian? Oh, you're being facetious there, but it's kind of like, shut up. No, that's not what's going on. That's not what's happening there. I remember when that channel Gaia came out, I got sacked. What's this? Hang on, it's vanished from me. I got sucked in for a while until I seen people channeling Metatron. It makes a Christian cringe to hear the Gnostics as abnormal truth. It does. It does. It's bad stuff, you know. It's for people who want to feel intellectually superior, Gnosticism. That's what it's really for. And it's not the free gift of salvation from Christ is not enough for them. They need to believe they in some way did some work that made them some more superior and special than somebody else to gain their salvation. You know, they mastered Christ consciousness or something like this. When the truth is, it's vanity, chasing the wind. It's pride. That's the biggest sin of Gnosticism. That's the issue of Gnosticism. It's wholly rooted in pride, and that's the issue. And every time I talk about this, someone in the chat section is going to say something ridiculous. Say that's not real Gnosticism. It's kind of, yeah, okay, whatever. There's a hot air balloon festival in Albuquerque. Interesting. 700 balloons. To know leave nothing alive is because there was actually monsters. I don't know what you're talking about now, guys. You've lost me. Never mind. I don't know what you're on about. So guys, I've been going for 1 hour 42 on my end here. Do you think there's any more questions anyone wants to ask? Any topics going on that I should know about? Any more t-shirt ideas before I leave this? I think I've rambled and raved long enough. I've done what I can there. Shall I rock up into Shilltown and start promoting some stuff and closing this down? Let me know what's next. What am I doing here? I've done the presentation, so I'm winging it now, as always. One thing I'll say, which is fun news, like I mentioned it on the last one, but RSS which is like the hosting platform for podcasting. They've now just, for the first time, even though they've been around for like over a decade, have just introduced dynamic ad insertion into videos. So basically, they've now monetized it. You can now, as a creator, monetize podcasting through them. And I'm actually one of the first people to trial it. They've given me the reins to be like, and this is so odd. It's only because I randomly accepted joining into the newly released forum or something like that, where there's not even that many people who even bother to interact on there. And there's some guy on there who's clearly trying to make it work for the company. And he said, DM me if you want to trial the new paid system. And I said, yeah, I'll do it. You know, me and like 3 other people DM'd him, I think. So now I've somehow become one of the first people to get monetized on RSS, and I've earned $10 in a week. Okay. So if you want to go listen to podcasts like this, like I do on my live show here every Wednesday, every Sunday, and all the things I do in between, just audio only, you can go and do that on Spotify. You don't have to have like the YouTube thing going on. You can listen to everything I do in Spotify, in podcast format, wherever you get your podcast from. And it actually helps me now in a big way. So go and check those out if you haven't already, and go and subscribe on iTunes or Spotify or Deezer, or wherever you do it, whatever you do, wherever you go, you'll find it there. So there's a quick stop off at the snack shop of Shilltown. And yeah, I've got no more questions coming in. People are just talking about hot air balloons. So I'm going to start winding this down, guys, and we'll call this a night for now. It's a good show. I think I enjoyed the beginning there. I hope you enjoyed my little diatribe about just observe the people if you want a good sign of the times. I think I might... I was going to talk about narcissism as well, and the issue of that today as a good sign of the way things are today, and how it's kind of, we've all in a way been infected with the disease of narcissism, shall I say. It's kind of seeping in a lot, isn't it, you know, into the modern day. $10 is $10, says Digger Joe. I appreciate it. It's better than a kick in the bollocks, as I like to say, but there it is, you know. It's definitely there, and that's something, isn't it? But yeah, I don't. It's very early days for that monetization system. It's not. I'm not going to bank on anything like that. People make money through podcasting by getting sponsors. That's how people monetize podcasts. I don't have sponsors. I don't do that. It would be very off-brand of me to get a sponsor, I think, and I cannot imagine any company who would want to sponsor this channel in any way, shape, or form, or be associated with it. That would just be ridiculous. I sponsor myself by making my own adverts, writing my own books, doing other things on the side, you know, that's how I do it. Pride comes from acceptance, awareness can lead to shame. Adam and Eve felt shame. Okay. Thanks, Paul. Enjoy the rest of the night. Much love, Paul. Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. Like I said, if you do want to support me, go and buy a book. Second volume. It has replaced the old book now that was on Amazon, so you can get a new, updated, perfectly polished, no spelling mistakes version of the book. Everything perfectly, and it reads a lot better now. And so that's available on Amazon. Links down below. Keep an eye out for the audiobook. That will be coming out very soon. And whenever I get the green light from ACX, that will be available, and I'll do a big announcement when that is the case. And obviously, you guys saw the advert here. I'll play it out for you again one last time at the end of this episode. For people who've just rocked in, they can check it out as well again. Yeah, so that's coming soon. Exciting around the corner. Make sure to get a copy of the audiobook. That would help me a lot. That'll be a huge support for me and the family if I can get a lot of people to kind of just do that, and you get something in return. It's a transaction. I prefer that. If you want to get more access to more early content, I release things early access to Patreon, so you can check that out as well, and that's always good fun. And it's the minimum threshold, I think, is like $7.50 for everything, but you can donate more if you want to as well, so that's always an option. Signed copies of the book, I'm getting a batch in about 10 days. Someone's already reserved their copy and paid for that. So if you want to reserve for the next batch coming in your signed copy of The Nephilim Look Like Clowns, just email me at understandingconspiracy@gmail.com, and we can arrange getting the payments done and getting that reserved for you. So when they come in, I can just ship them right off. If you just want to email me about anything at all, if you have a podcast and you want me to be a guest, you can just reach out to me at understandingconspiracy@gmail.com, and yeah, we'll sort that out. Someone just reached out to me from I think it's the Unraveling podcast, and I'm going on that soon, I assume, whenever I get the email there, so that's coming as well. So there you go, guys. I think that's all the plugs I can think of. Thanks for all the merch quote ideas. I'll bear them all in mind as I figure some stuff out with me and my wife. I'm sure she's got way better ideas than me. She's good at this kind of stuff. Adrian Moore, can I email you, Paul, and have a personal chat? Adrian, if you want to email me and start talking about how Yahweh was an evil, cruel, vindictive, demiurge type god and not really the God of Jesus, I'm not interested in that nonsense. Please stop. Don't email me. I won't respond. It's that simple. It's that simple. I'm done with that. The God of the Old Testament is the same God of the New Testament. Okay, it's the same thing. And yes, things may have happened from your perspective that are questionable, but I'm not getting into it. So there we go. God bless you, Paul. Everyone in chat. God bless Paul family. Glitched again, says Kathleen. I'm sorry it glitched. You best just to close the browser and start the whole thing up again. If it does glitch on you guys, that pretty much solves the problem with YouTube every single time. So go check that out. Nothing wrong with talking about hot air balloons, Jeff. No, they're cool things, aren't they? Yeah, but anyway, guys, on that note, I'm going to leave the show there. I'll play out the advert again for you guys one last time. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. And as always, God bless.
In a world where 54% of Americans read below a 6th grade level,
Could you read this?
It's impossible. I just see his words everywhere.
one man wrote a book about the hidden truth behind clowns.
I finally finished it. But everything's going to be okay now. Links down below to the Amazon.
But he was about to find out
Your primary market is the USA, and it ranks 36th in global literacy rates, with over 43 million adults unable to read or write.
getting the truth to people is no day at the circus.
You know, sometimes I wonder if I'm the real clown.
Nobody reads anymore.
Have you considered recording an audiobook?
You're going to get a sore throat.
You're serious about this, aren't you?
You don't understand. I have to do this. The people have to know.
That book will ruin everything.
I will not use AI to record this.
We can't let him reach them.
This is just something I need to do. I don't even like clowns. The end.
Now they can hide that they're completely illiterate. This is amazing.
This season, playing on rectangular devices with black screens near you. The Nephilim looked like clowns. The audiobook.